man's always late and whatnot. Can we do it? It's about time you showed up, man. Where the hell you been?
What you mean where I've been?
Nah, you always late for doing this stuff. Can't take nothing serious, man.
You know what? I'm tired of this.
You know what? Nah. You want to tell them? You making too much noise. My mom out there trying to sleep and whatnot. You know what? This gonna be the last episode ever of the Whattaplay podcast.
Yeah, creative differences.
Creative difference. Nah, you messing with you. You know me, boys.
Shout out to Carl.
Shout out to the Fumble on the Play. This is the 7th installment of the Whattaplay podcast. I am co-host Dereck Fuster, otherwise known as Big Vanilla, otherwise known as your favorite SoundCloud rapper's favorite SoundCloud rapper.
And I'm Jalen Luna, also known as JTL, also known as hashtag They Love the Flow, also known as Young Gary Cole with the Flow, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so before we get into today's episode, this has been your PSA. We will all agree in a collective E on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, E.
E.
All right, so into some breaking news. Not so breaking, but at the time of the recording, this is not really new to us, not new to y'all, but it is kind of relevant. Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz traded to the Colts.
From the birdie to the ponies?
Yeah.
Nay?
For a second and third round pick. Obviously, the consensus is, I think it's an upgrade, to be honest. You think Wentz went from, I don't want to say he didn't really do much for Philly because he did get them to where they were when Nick Foles led them to the Super Bowl. But now he's arguably has one of the best O-lines in the NFL. He has receivers in Pittman. If T.Y. Hilton resigns with them, I think it's a solid move on both ends. Co-host Jalen, what do you think?
I also do agree that it is a good move for Philadelphia. Carson Wentz, he will be reunited with Frank Reich, who was the offensive coordinator in Philly. They won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So they're both reunited. Like you said, one of the best O-lines in the league. They have a pretty decent guy in the backfield in Marlon Mack.
Return of the Mack.
You got Marlon Mack, you got Jonathan Taylor, who played well last year. And I mean, you look at the receivers, you got T.Y. Hilton, who's been there forever. Michael Pittman. Shout out his younger brother Micah. He's a receiver for the Ducks. So shout out Pittman one time.
Yellow shoe, Barbara.
And yeah, so I do agree with it is a good move. Now, what I don't agree with is how people were saying, Wentz was washed, Wentz ain't, a good quarterback and all that, this, that, and whatever. I do believe that he is a good quarterback. But we say that he's elite.
Debatable. I would say not to the same caliber, but there was a Hall of Fame quarterback. Played for the Colts around 2011, 2012 by the name of Peyton Manning. People were saying when he had his injury, it was a very severe injury, that he was washed, he couldn't get it done, hence why the Colts were in the QB limbo that they were currently in until they traded for Wentz. Minus Andrew Luck, but obviously he retired. Peyton Manning went and signed with the Broncos and ended up winning another Super Bowl. Yes, his defense carried him to that Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong, I got nothing but respect for the man. He is my favorite quarterback of all time, after all. But that said, I think Wentz is going to do good things in Indy. Do I like Indy? Debatable. Do I think they make the playoffs? Time will tell.
I do believe, well, let's be honest, look at the division now. 2 of the teams in the AFC South come week 1 next year, they're going to have new quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence, in all likelihood, will be in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Houston, more
Has a
likely,
problem.
well, obviously. They're probably going to be without Deshaun Watson, so that's 2 teams right there. But, I mean, you look at the other teams, you have Carson Wentz and Ryan Tannehill, 2 really good veteran NFL QBs with a good team around them and all that. So I do believe for at least the next couple of years, the AFC South will be running through either Nashville or Indianapolis. And I'm willing to say that both teams, regardless of who wins the division, you have your division winner and you probably have the latter being the 6th or 7th seed probably.
I could foresee that happening for sure. Moving on from that, we'll get into some more NFL news. We got some impending free agents. We thought it would be a fun idea, me and Jalen. Name off a few of them, figure out where they're going to go or who they're going to sign with. Obviously, we've already talked to you about J.J. Watt and where we think he might end up.
Speaking of J.J. Watt, one of his former teammates, he is trying to recruit said player to a possible reunion in the desert. For those who are unaware, DeAndre Hopkins did post a picture to his Instagram account last week with a picture of him and J.J. Watt in a Photoshop Cardinals jersey with the caption reading, "Let's finish what we started." Now, obviously for you wouldn't want to see Arizona pick up J.J. Watt, probably for obvious reasons. But
I'm not worried about Arizona. They've missed the playoffs twice. They probably need him more than Baltimore does, if we're being honest.
But anyways, J.J. Watt, he's obviously very high on a lot of people's free agency wish list.
Yes.
To have him in the desert with guys like Chandler Jones, Byron Murphy, Buda Baker, it would be a big boost to our defense for sure. So I mean, like we all say, time will tell. But it wouldn't hurt to have a little reunion down there in the desert for sure.
You mentioned reunion. It's funny you should say that because I know a lot of people were pitching for him to go play with his brothers up in the AFC North in Pittsburgh, the Steel City, the Steelers. Yes, but JJ, you don't want to help Derek. You want to hurt Derek. This guy wants to hurt Derek too. We all know it.
I mean, it's a family podcast, so I'm gonna say that on there.
That said, we have Von Miller. Obviously, he's got a situation going on right now, but we're not going to talk about all that. This is family friendly. If he clears all that, Von, baby, come to the Ravens. We need pass rushers. You, Yannick, Marlowe, Marcus Peters. Sounds nice, doesn't it? You also got your guys like Allen Robinson. Also, we need a number one wide receiver. Hollywood might be it. He might be. His stats are increasing year by year. I got trust in the kid.
Big trust?
Big trust. Woo woo.
How y'all say it down there?
Big trust around here. You want to play with the Ravens. That offense is explosive. We set records past 2 seasons. You got guys like Alshon Jeffrey, who just got released. He'll probably have a nice little market. Your boy down in the desert, Patrick Peterson. Debatable what his market will be. You have guys such as Rick Wagner, tackle.
Now, speaking of free agents, one big-time free agent in Deshaun Watson.
He's not a free agent yet, homie.
Correction, he is not a free agent yet, but the rumors are starting to speculate that Carolina is basically doing whatever they can to bring Deshaun Watson home, so to speak. As we all know, he played his college ball down in Clemson, South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina. You get the Carolinas. You get the picture. But yeah, according to CBS Sports on their Instagram page, the Panthers have started clearing about $19 million in cap space, releasing guys like Kawan Short, Stephen Weatherly. You know about Weatherly, don't you, Weatherly?
Yeah.
Trey Boston and Michael Palladari, just to clear space to pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as we all know, Deshaun did sign a big contract this past offseason, so Carolina, they're going to do what they got to do to clear up money to pick him up. Should he go back to the Carolinas, do you see that being a good fit down there?
Well, you figure
with Coach Rule and Christian McCaffrey.
You figure if they keep McCaffrey, if they re-sign Anderson if he's a free agent, pick up a nice tight end or two, yeah, I think it's a good fit. However, do we know what pick the Panthers have in the draft? Because I have seen reports online and on the social medias that the Texans don't want to give up Deshaun Watson unless they get the chance to draft the second best quarterback in the draft. Obviously, your former team, the New York Jets, have which pick?
They have the second pick.
They have the second pick. It has been speculated many times before that Deshaun Watson could be going to the Jets. I don't think the Jets are as good as a fit. Obviously, you would know more about this than I would. You know much about that owner and ownership?
Let's just say, as much as it'd be nice to see Deshaun in Gotham, the one factor that will probably keep not only Deshaun, but I guess big name free agents from going to Gotham is that owner, which I'm pretty sure I've stated in the past episode.
You have.
But yeah, also going with Carolina, should they get Deshaun, that means one guy who I'm a real big fan of, he's been without a job again, and that guy is the man known as Teddy Two Gloves, Teddy Bridgewater. This past offseason, he signed a 3-year, $65 million deal with the Panthers, but now they're basically all but going to release him, which you really got to feel bad for Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, everything he's been through the past couple of years, the ACL, basically almost losing his leg in that practice accident when he was with Minnesota, being released by Minnesota, signed, picked up by the Jets preseason roster a couple of years back. Traded away to New Orleans when Drew Brees went down the season before this past one. Went 5-0, held his own, and he finally got his chance to be a starter in the NFL. And the Panthers are basically gonna let him go.
Well, it's funny that you bring up the Saints because there's so much speculation. Brees, is he coming back? Is he not coming back? If he doesn't come back, I don't think Taysom Hill's the answer.
Or Jameis Winston?
Or Jameis. Jameis has his own 30 for 30. And not in a good way. Yeah, he threw for 5,000 yards, but that don't mean nothing. We'll get into that in a later episode. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Teddy B was a Saint, was he not?
He was. He literally went 5-0 as a starter.
There's your answer. If for some reason the Panthers let him go or do a sign and trade, or not a sign and trade, correction, trade him back to New Orleans.
And I got a cousin, who's a Saints fan, love him to death. Joey, if you're watching this, love you, man. Tell my nieces and nephew, uncle say what's up. He's a Saints fan. Me and him, we talked about, Bridgewater and how I think him leaving was a bad deal. I have other friends from high school who are Saints fans, and I've, had talks about, Bridgewater leaving, and do you think, this guy will be the right pick? Teddy, all biases aside, Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback. He's a good reliable option at QB. Given the right circumstances, he's going to ball out. He literally proved that when Drew Brees went down, and he kind of, carried that team.
I would agree with you in that sentiment. Also, I am not as big of a Teddy Bridgewater fan as co-host Jalen is. I'm more so, my quarterbacks are more so the style of Lamar, Joe Burrow, your current guys, people like them. But Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback, and he will get the job done for you. So it'll be nice to see free agency starts, I believe, within a couple weeks. We will be doing a podcast episode on free agency, keeping you up to date with everything. We'll probably track it throughout the day and then shoot the podcast later in the night to recap where everybody went, the details of the contract, etc., etc. That being said, some other NFL news. You know one Mr. Cam Newton, correct?
Word.
Won the Natty. Was it the league MVP?
You bring up that Natty, man, it still hurts.
I know, I had to do it though. I had to do it for the pod.
I was down, it still hurts.
He won a league MVP.
You did?
He led the...
Should we bring him back one time? Don't do it?
What are we doing?
Dab?
Oh, you want a dab?
Sure.
Yes, we're white. He may not look it, but he is.
So what's up with Cam now?
One Mr. Cameron Newton held a football camp over this past, I believe, week or weekend. Had a 7v7 tournament. Had a high school athlete say some stuff. It's not really what he said, but it's the tone of what he said it. Telling Cam that he was going to be poor if he's a free agent, that he's asked. I'm sorry, but if my parents, if I was still in high school and I was playing football, and my parents gave me the opportunity to learn from somebody like Cam Newton, I'm gonna sit there, to quote Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I'm gonna know my role, I'm gonna shut my mouth, and I'm gonna learn from one of the best. The kid has issued an apology. He said he let his competitive nature get the best of him. I kind of see where he's coming from, but I don't agree with it. Obviously, me and Jalen, we're both very competitive when it comes to a lot of stuff. I'd say Madden, but this guy has a lead over me currently. I'm not bad at Madden, I swear. Fantasy football? Now that's a different story. Jalen, you care to tell them what this trophy is before we get back on the topic?
That is the biggest female dog trophy.
Yes, I went from first to worst in fantasy football.
Hey, let's talk about your Uno skills too, big fella.
Let's not talk about my Uno skills and say that we did.
All right, and so
My girlfriend and my best friend and my sister made me draw 25 cards. That was fun. Also, if you're watching, hi Kylie.
All right, so from my point of view, obviously we've all seen the video surface on social media. What the kid said, it really was out of line.
It was out of pocket.
I put it in my pocket.
Out of pocket.
But I mean, for one, you look at a Cam Newton camp. I'm pretty sure tickets or invites to those camps
Are very exclusive.
Yes, well, exclusive and expensive. But for the kid to do what he did, it was out of line. And this isn't the first time Cam has had some little kid talk trash to him. Granted, Cam, he's had his up and downs the past couple of years, past couple of seasons. Like you said, you get an opportunity to learn from one of the best at their position in any sport. And, the first thing you do is try to talk mess to them to try to get some views on TikTok or whatever the younger ones do nowadays is dumb. Like, don't do it. Very much so. Like, even when you posted your apology, you had, people coming up on your post on Twitter saying, oh, you messed up, this is gonna, follow you for a long, long time. You don't know how many doors
that you closed, and
just because, oh, I'm a Cam Newton's camp, man. Hey, there you are right there. Hey, record me. I'm gonna say what's up to him real quick.
Yeah, no, you did all that for some clout. You want clout, go about it the hard way. Put in the work. Do what we're doing. Put it in the work. Grinding, writing, tweeting.
Looking up stuff.
Looking up stats. Work hard, play hard.
Eat.
That said, they do have a point. That kid did shut a lot of doors that he probably didn't know he had open. I'm sorry, but if I can learn from a quarterback or any skills position player who plays for a rival team, even if I might not agree with the person, I'm going to do what they say. They know more than me. They got to where they're at because they know more than I do.
I mean, like, it's any sport, man. Like, kind of get off topic here. A couple years ago, up at the PX, we do live by Fort Hood, which is the Army base.
Don't we tell them where they live?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we live in Texas. But, yeah, so a couple years back, one Robert Gronkowski, when he was on the Patriots,
Gronky football.
Gronky football. He came down for a little meet and greet. I did try my best to attend. The line was basically wrapped around the store. A lot of Patriot fans. But I did pull up on a Jets hat because, of course, I was a Jet fan at the time. If I had, a chance to meet him, say what's up to him, he'd probably say something about my hat. And I'd probably be like, yeah, man, it's cool to meet you. I've obviously seen you play enough, but hey, I gotta run my team. You know what I mean? That's basically where Derek's coming from. Like, if he was athletically gifted and he was able to attend a football camp hosted by, we'll say, T.J. Watt, he'll probably go up to him, shake his hand, be like, hey man, I've seen you probably wear, a Ravens
I
shirt.
got my gear, obviously, as one does.
You probably go up to him and you probably like, oh man, Ravens fan, like, yeah man, gotta rep the flock, but I've seen you play, I respect your game and all that stuff. That's basically what he would do.
That's what that
as would be me. Like, I'm getting off topic, but you get what I'm trying to say.
No, you kind of stayed on topic with that. I mean, I had a chance. or at least I thought I was going to have a chance to meet the Big Show. That's a little off topic, but it's still kind of sports related, so we'll go with it. That line was long. I didn't get the notification that I wasn't going to be able to meet the Big Show. Is the Big Show my favorite wrestler? No. It's probably not even in my top 5. That said, I would meet him. I would shake his hand. I'd be like, I respect what you do. You've been in the game for a long time. It's simple. The golden rule that we learned in elementary school was treat people the way you want to be treated. And I have abided by that rule since I was a kid.
Same here. Even if, you talk your mess and do something to piss me off, I'm not going to get disrespectful. Like, just with anybody, you treat me right, I'm going to treat you right. Simple as
Because
that.
we are classy gents.
So, with that being said, any more football news before we continue?
Off the top of the dome, I can't think of any other football news. Actually, yes, there is one last thing. Speaking of Deshaun Watson, mad shout out to him, Robert Griffin III, Ray Rice, among the many others that donated to both the city of Baltimore, the state of Texas. Obviously, as y'all know, the last podcast we shot, we were receiving a winter storm. That was a brutal 4 days.
Basically a whole week.
Basically a whole week. I didn't have classes for a week. I had to call out of work because of how bad the roads were some days. We actually closed one day. Haven't been able to see my girlfriend for about a week, so yeah, that sucks. But that said, mad shout out to them. Obviously, Ray Rice doesn't play in the league anymore, but it is nice to still see. Obviously, I'm repping his jersey right now. Got the hat on.
That bro looking at me funny.
You shouldn't have mocked his mother.
What?
That said, it's nice to still see Ray Rice active in the Baltimore community. I still like the guy. I don't like the actions that he did or what he did, but he is actually a public speaker on the issue of domestic violence now. That being said, a little PSA for y'all: domestic violence is never okay. I don't care if you're pissed off, you're angry. Yeah, as a kid, I did some crap I wasn't supposed to do. I regret it to this day. I was young, I was stupid. In my adult years, I'm a lot better at it. But that said, I can't think of any other football stuff. Any football stuff on your end?
Shout out Primetime, Deion Sanders. As for those who don't know, he is now a coach at HBCU Jackson State. His team blew out their opponent yesterday at time scoring 53-0. So yeah, shout out Primetime, man. We all love Primetime.
Yeah, much love for Primetime. See what you're doing out there in them Subway commercials. You coaching now, that's cool.
Hey, side note, I know it was Under Armour, but we need them diamond shirts to come out again.
Also, whoever stole Primetime's wallet and phone, I know you returned it, but that's low, man. That's low. Don't be butthurt because he beat your team.
That being said, from the gridiron to the hardwood, some NBA news. So the NBA All-Star game, they announced the starting lineup. I believe Dereck has the starting 5 for the East and the West. They're doing East and West this year.
Yes, which brings us back to the traditional format of East versus West. In the past couple of seasons, it has been LeBron James versus Giannis. But it's nice to see us getting back to that East versus West format. For your Western starters, you got Mr. 17th straight NBA All-Star appearance, LeBron James. You have Kiwi Leonard, a.k.a. otherwise known as Kawhi Leonard.
He's so a fun guy?
Yeah, he a fun guy. Who else did we have?
Hey, I low-key miss you, Kawhi. Please come back.
My tears come cold, I'm wondering why. Dear Kawhi, he misses you, but you still ain't calling. If you're not going to the Spurs, go to the Mavs because Luka's been balling. Also, Mr. Luka Doncic on his Don-ish is one of the starters. So that's 3 of the 5. I believe we also got
Steph Curry and
Steph Curry with the shot. You know, shooter's gonna shoot. Mr. Luna can attest to that.
Yeah.
And on our eastern side, I'm going to let Mr. Luna take the floor on that one.
Where's your notebook at?
It's over there.
Ah, yes. So for the East.
Wait. I got this, I think. Let's see how well my memory works. You have one Mr. Kevin Durant. You have one Mr. Nets teammate in Kyrie Irving. You also have Bradley Beal, who did not get snubbed this year, might I add. And there are two more who, at the time of this recording.
So, someone will probably be correcting us in the comments if you do.
Nope, we're going to take a timeout.
Joel Embiid, he is.
Joel Embiid is in there. I don't know why I tried to hide this from y'all. We're not perfect, but we're working on it.
I believe Kemba Walker rounded out the Eastern
I
Conference.
don't think it was Kemba, my guy.
Kemba?
No, it was Jokic.
For the East?
Yeah, that's what you said.
That's the West.
Now that's backwards. Yeah, I think you might be right then. We'll go with that, and if we are wrong, correct us in the comments. We'll correct it on the podcast page if we're wrong on our end. But what do you think of the lineup? And who you have winning it?
So, in terms of the starting five, one of the big, I guess, debates was the fact that a lot of people believe that Damian Lillard of the Portland Trailblazers was snubbed of a starting role, and that spot obviously went to Luka Doncic. Now, first and foremost, nothing against Damian Lillard. I'm a fan of his game. He's been consistent for as long as he's been in the league. But you compare the two, Luka and Dame. They're both averaging about 30 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
Dame obviously averages about 4 more rebounds than Luka, and about same amount in assists. Probably a little bit more Luka's in. But do I believe that Dame was snubbed without being biased or anything? I don't think so. I mean,
You think about the way voting goes, who it's left up to.
I
I could see it if somebody like LeBron or Kawhi or KD or Kyrie didn't get in.
I mean, cut you off, but one thing I personally saw on Twitter was how Luka had people from different countries voting for him to make the All-Star game, while Dame, all his work basically came from the U.S. So.
Well, you also got to consider Luka is of European descent. Slovenian. He's going to have overseas fans, much like the late great Kobe Bryant when he was still alive. He had fans far across the world. And by the way, rest in peace, Kobe. I miss you.
We both talked about, Kobe's impact overseas, but do I think Dame was snubbed? I honestly don't think so. I mean, both have been playing really well this year. Luka, if I'm being honest, he's had his on and off moments, but as of late, he's been playing a lot better.
For sure. Anything else you'd like to add to the discussion?
Basically, in terms of the actual game itself, so for the first time ever, all 3 main events are going to basically be in one night.
Yes.
So how they're going to do it is skills and 3-point competition. That'll start off the night. The game will follow, and then for halftime, they have the slam dunk contest.
Yes, and it is different, obviously, with cough regulations and whatnot.
And
we're in the middle of a Panic at the Disco, obviously.
Or panoramic, as Gunnar would say. But so that's how they're going to do the game itself. The format, a little bit as it was last year. First three quarters, it's gonna be 0-0. So basically a big pickup game, and then the team with the most amount of points at the end of the quarter will basically be awarded those points. And then the fourth quarter, it'll basically be the first team 24. They did last year after the passing of Kobe Bryant, first team 24 wins. It's like how, in a pickup game, first to 21, or however people play it.
It's 21, if not horse, like you make the shots and whatnot. I do like the format. It honors the legacy and memory of Kobe. You also have the not finals. We're not in the finals yet. The All-Star Award was renamed last year by Commissioner Silver to the Kobe Bryant All-Star Award, and I think that's a touching tribute as well. You have to wonder if they're going to honor him in any way over All-Star Weekend. Also, y'all need to come out with them jerseys. We didn't really get any for the Pro Bowl for the NFL. I know he's a little upset about that.
I definitely want to get that K11 jersey for sure. But more news regarding how they're going to do it. It is going to be in Atlanta this year, March 7th.
Birds.
ATL, shout out little baby.
Shout out Eagles.
The Atlanta mayor did say that no fans are going to be permitted to come to the arena. I do believe that it's basically going to be family members and frontline workers who are going to, get tickets to come to the game. So in terms of the family members, players are going to be allowed, X number of guests. So probably, wife or girlfriend and
children.
Let's say their kids, yeah. They're gonna have to travel to Atlanta via, a private plane or a private car. That's just how they're doing it to, prevent the spread of COVID. And basically, they don't want them leaving the hotel unless you're in an event. The Atlanta mayor also said, for local businesses, they're not gonna do any, All-Star game festivities this year. So obviously, for those who aren't familiar, basically all the sponsor events, me being a big shoe guy, there's gonna be no like Jordan or Nike or Mitchell Ness events, anything like that. It's just gonna straight up, y'all gonna come down, y'all gonna play, y'all gonna go home. That's how they're gonna do it.
Yes. Obviously, given the circumstances, cough, everything else that's gone on this year, I completely understand it. Obviously, we've stated on the podcast before, we want sports to get back to how sports were, where they're allowing fans. We're both big sports guys. I want to see in-person games. I've told Jalen plenty of times my one biggest regret is I never got to see Kobe play live in person. I want to see LeBron before he retires play in person. I'd like a chance to see Lamar Jackson play. The Orioles, yeah, just for the hell of it. Also, speaking of which, we'll move on from.
So we still got some more NBA news.
We got some more NBA news.
So basically, it's just a recap of the standings, and we'll give our recap to how our respective teams did this past week. So in terms of the Eastern Conference, things are basically still the same. Philly's still the 1 seed, followed by Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Indiana, Toronto, Boston, the Knicks, and the Hornets currently reside in the 8th seed. And then on the western side, Utah, they're still the 1 seed, continuing their strong run this year.
Pain.
Followed by both LA teams, Lakers and Clippers. Phoenix up 4, then you got Portland, San Antonio, Denver, and Golden State. Now, me personally, I guess also on this week, me personally, seeing San Antonio is still a 6. Considering the fact that we didn't even play any games last week because half the team caught COVID, so we couldn't play. The team that we played before everything got shut down, the Hornets, they couldn't play either because of the whole contract tracing thing. I guess it's cool to see them at 6. I'm just more happy.
They're in a lot better space than they were last season.
Yeah, a lot better space.
This does bring a smile to his face.
But yeah, I'm just more so happy that the team is finally healthy. They can start practicing and getting back to the way things are now. One thing that's definitely been a point of discussion, as it is always this year, is the MVP race. The two front runners are from your usual position. Excuse me. So far this series, two MVP front runners are Joel Embiid from the Sixers and Nikola Jokic.
Could have sworn LeBron was in the running for that.
Well, let's be honest. As much as I don't like the guy winning, he in the running for MVP.
You sure? Because that wasn't the case last week. I'm not even trying to start anything here. I'm just saying, last week he was in the running, and we have that.
Well, he still is.
I was about to say we have that statistic from Ryan. Shout out Ryan.
That's what I'm getting at. But so far, as you know, NBA and also they were saying, the two front runners have been Embiid and Jokic. That's why I said, from 90 years old position, both guys are centers, and I believe the last center to win the MVP was one that came Olajuwon way back in the 90s.
Yes.
So, just from those two guys, who would you say would have the edge?
Both of them. Not trying to seem like I'm uninterested here, but we're not trying to keep this podcast very long today. So honestly, realistically, I'd probably say Embiid just because I feel like he has a better team around him than the other guy does.
Jokic?
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that. Joel Embiid, Philadelphia, they've been playing really well this year, henceforth. That's why they're currently the one seed in the West. The East. So
The East!
Yeah, can't take nothing away. Like I say, stats don't lie.
Ball don't lie.
And yeah, so anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, so my end for the Lakers, they're still doing okay. They've lost a couple games here and there. We lost to Miami the other night. We need Anthony Davis back. We need Dennis Schroeder back. Caruso, if you're going to take shots, make them a long 3, not a 2. Okay? You got a shoe deal and we don't even know that brand. That's all I'm going to say on that. So, moving on from that, we will be going into a bit of baseball news. We'll wrap it up with our fun segment, do a little PSAs, and I think we can call it a night, right?
Right. And so, as you can tell from my attire, one of my Yankee hats on, for I am a Yankees fan. Dereck is, of course.
I'm an Orioles fan.
That sounds fun.
It's horrible.
But yeah, MLB, back on the 15th, they did pitchers and catchers report spring training. So basically, spring training is about to be underway. As far as, so from ESPN, MLB has said that in terms of the games, they'll have a limited number of fans. I guess it's kind of going to be a trial run for how they're going to do things on the regular season. As we all know, last year for MLB, no fans allowed in the stadium until basically the World Series, which was held up in Arlington. So yeah, nice little trial run to see how they're going to do things. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Other than that, we'll talk more about baseball
Once we get into the season.
once, it's opening week, opening day. Your predictions, obviously, I'm hoping that my Yankees can finally win 28.
I hope they don't.
Of course you don't.
Sorry. I'm an Orioles fan. It's in my blood. That said, I do want to shout out one Orioles player. Probably going to end up winning comeback player of the year, if we're being honest. One Mr. Trey Mancini. Hats off to you, man. This man, last season, battled through cancer, still had a determination to come back, play baseball. I have mad respect for that. I only have one Orioles jersey in the wardrobe right now. Yours is going to be the next one I plan on getting. Obviously, it ain't going to be Chris Davis, but we're not going to get into all that. I miss you, Machado. I miss Adam Jones. I miss Markakis. I miss Cruz.
You can even follow Machado.
I'm not following Machado to the Padres.
Well, you don't think he look good in brown and yellow?
No. He looked like Dookie. That said, we will be moving on.
One more bit of baseball news. Fernando Tatis Jr., I hope I'm saying that right, signed probably the biggest extension of the offseason, a 14-year, $340 million extension, staying with the Padres. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with baseball, big contracts like this are pretty common. Manny Machado got one, Mike Trout got one.
Shut up, Machado.
Bryce Harper, he got one. Giancarlo Stanton, yeah, we kind of wasted money with him. Garrett Cole, he got one as well. So far, so good. But yeah, 14-year, $340 million.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, but that contract is more rich and exclusive, or elusive, I should say, than the one Mr. Patrick Mahomes signed just this past year, correct?
It's up there in terms of the price or how much the deal is.
The years, I know Mahomes was 10 years, about same amount of money, give or take, little less. Details are kind of fuzzy right now.
So Taylor's deal was about probably 200 less than Mahomes. We'll put it like that.
Okay, still kind of up there.
As of right now, Mahomes still has the richest contract in sports history with $500 million.
Lamar could win a Super Bowl. He might get a richer one, but that's neither here nor there. We'll debate that on another episode. That said, the last thing, or not the last thing, we're going to get into our fun segment now, I believe, which today's mailbag question, not really a mailbag question. Y'all can send questions to us, by the way. You got us on the Twitters, you got us on our personals, and if you're not, follow us on our socials and our personals. I put them in the link every time I upload a video.
You know, y'all can slide in our DMs, ask us questions.
To ask us questions. My girlfriend ain't gonna be happy if you slide in my DMs.
Yeah, you can't do that no more.
I don't slide in people's DMs.
Me on the other hand,
would you talk about homeboy sliding into DMs earlier?
All of our people fans out there, what's popping? But yeah, what's today's fun segment?
Like co-host Jalen said, if it's sports related, you can DM us. My girlfriend's not short, but she might bite your ankles off if you try to hit my DMs. I don't know. Love you, babe.
I'm pretty good. But anyways.
Okay, I know you said I'm fair game, but I heard something completely different. And you don't want to know. Anyways, our fun question for today is if you could change any sports moment throughout history, what moment would you change? And Mr. Luna, Jalen, JTL, they love the flow.
We only get one? Only change one?
You can only change one. Let's say you have the Infinity Gauntlet. You can rewind time, all the powers that Thanos had. What would you change?
Man, I have a wide range to choose from.
Let me add this too, because we'll talk about this on a separate podcast. You can't change any legendary sports player passing or anything like that. Strictly had to happen when the players were alive.
Still, man, so I have a wide range to choose from. Obviously, Oregon's 2 national championship losses, Ray Allen hitting the 3, Santonio Holmes catching the game winner, the Yankees getting beat by the Astros twice in 3 years in the ALCS. Man, he got me in a bind. I don't know. I feel like I have a lot, but
let's say the weapon to your head.
Weapon to your head?
You have to choose one. Which would you choose?
Oh man, so I feel like I bring this up a lot in terms of this sports moment, but if I were to really have to choose one, I'll probably have to pick Game 6, 2013 Finals. Ray Allen misses that 3. San Antonio wins their 5th championship, and LeBron ends up being like what 1-5.
It'd be 1-5.
1-3 at that time in the finals. I mean, out of all the sports moments I mentioned, that one I feel definitely just haunts me the most. I mean, every greatest sports moment compilation on YouTube, that clip is always there, and it hurts more and more. I've gotten better, I guess, with dealing with it, but it's just the whole, we had to wait. We had to wait 1 more year to get 5. I mean, we all know in 2014 we beat Miami pretty bad in the finals, but I mean I just have to pick with that one because I feel like that one it still stings the most.
For sure, I can agree with that. And I think on my end, it's easy. You know what I'm about to say.
What you gonna say?
You know what I'm about to say. Most people would say Billy Cundiff making that 27, 28, 32-yard field goal. No. Because this is when I first got into football. 2011, freshman year of high school. Sit down in front of the TV in January, right when we go back for the school year. Lee Evans drops a go-ahead touchdown in the end zone. Ooh. If we get the go-ahead touchdown, we beat the Patriots in Foxborough. I remember this game very well. One Mr. Joe Flacco outplayed one Mr. Thomas Edward Brady
Junior.
Jr. I feel like if we win that game, we were running it back to back.
So what you're saying is if y'all won that game,
We would have been a dynasty. We would have had 3. And it takes 3 to become or to start a dynasty.
so what I am hearing is you guys want to play, y'all want to play the Giants that year, never mind. I forgot.
Yeah, we all remember what happened the last time the Ravens and the Giants played in the Super Bowl. Shout out my uncle. He a Giants fan.
Oof.
Don't worry, I'll get you something nice for Christmas to make up for it. That said, yeah. Lee Evans. Then again, you have to think about it. If that happens, we probably don't end up signing Justin Tucker. In my opinion, greatest kicker in NFL history. Thoughts?
I mean, nothing against Justin Tucker. He is a Texas native, but I mean, greatest kicker in the NFL. Let's be honest, the kicker isn't the most prestigious position in the league, but I mean, hey, you gotta have a grade or something, I guess.
I mean, we've had great safeties, linebackers, kickers.
Well, what about quarterbacks? But anyways,
you want to say what about quarterbacks? But at least my quarterbacks won a playoff game. But that's a debate for a different day. That said,
disclaimer: when we have our college versus Lamar debate,
it's going to get heated.
It's damn near gonna be like first take.
Yeah, don't worry. We're still going to be boys at the end of the day. But if it gets heated,
I'm gonna throw one of these toys down.
That's fine. I'm just going to hit it with a Ray Rice uppercut.
But anyways, before we wrap it up, I'll do my little NASCAR segment. So
do we have to do a NASCAR segment?
I mean, I'm pretty sure like the one NASCAR fan out there who kind of looks forward to it.
Hey, Lil Billy. We don't care about the NASCAR segment, but I'll let Mr. Luna go ahead.
So this past weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series was still in Daytona at the road course, which they usually use for the Rolex 24 sports car race in January. Very long, very eventful race, but at the end of the day, we had a second straight first-time winner. Shout out to Christopher Bell, his first win in the Cup Series. Switch over from LeBron Family Racing to Joe Gibbs Racing, and second week in a row, second first-time winner in a row. So far, so good. Start to the season. Next week, they will be down in Homestead, Miami Speedway. They're still going to be in Florida. Start the season. In terms of who I think is going to win, I'll say Denny Hamlin. He's been driving pretty well throughout the season. He'll probably I'll say he's my pick to win next week. I did pick Chase Elliott to win this past weekend's race, and it didn't go too well.
Mm-hmm. That said, the only race car driver, NASCAR driver I ever really cared about was Jeff Gordon. Familiar with a lot of the other ones from my younger years when my dad used to watch that stuff. That said, we're going to end this with our PSAs, and we're going to wrap it up for the night. That said, Jalen, do you have anything you'd like to say to our audience?
What would I like to say to the audience?
Besides trying to hit on our female audience.
I mean, but no, all seriousness, we do appreciate you guys watching the videos. If you guys, for whoever does come across our videos, we would appreciate it if you guys were to share them.
Drop a like, drop a comment, even if it's to tell Jalen he's ugly, or me. It's fine.
But like the YouTubers say, like, comment, subscribe, share the video on your Twitter, Facebook,
your MySpace, your Tumblr.
Post to your IG story, post it to your Snapchat, all that good stuff. We don't.
We mad fire.
We don't know who you guys know, so you guys share the videos on whatever you share them on. We don't know if someone comes across them, and the next thing you know, we get a DM from a big time sports personality. Y'all could be the guy. Y'all could be the person to put us on.
Yeah, you could be the person to get us through the door. Like Jalen said, share with your family, your friends, your goldfish, your dog. We need the likes, we need the comments, we need the shares. It boils down to that. At the end of the day, this helps us get through the door. This is something we're serious about. This is something we're passionate about. That said, the only other PSA I have, Texas, and Texas specifically, stop panic buying groceries when there's the first sign of trouble. We had a winter storm. Y'all fled to the markets, the grocery stores, because you were going to be trapped in your house for a couple days, and you bought in bulk. And honestly, the grocery stores need to implement a new rule where they put restrictions on stuff when it's stuff like when cough first hit, or when there's winter storms. You know they're coming. Be better prepared for that. That said, my one last PSA. One Mr. Marshawn Lynch. I've said it plenty of times before on this podcast, but I am a big advocate for mental health. I would consider myself a mental health ally. I wouldn't say an activist. I'm learning more about the subject.
Spokesperson, I guess.
Not even a spokesperson, just an ally. Because I'm still teaching myself, learning about the subject. Y'all take care of your mentals and take care of your chicken. I think that's how the saying goes. If not, I put my own twist on it. That said, we do love y'all. We do appreciate y'all. Drop a like, share, comment. Subscribe. Follow us on our socials. We're funny. We love y'all. Hope y'all have a good night. This has been the Whattaplay podcast. This is Dereck and Jalen signing off.